It's all about, to me, a dance with the natural energy of the earth.
I always wonder if people understand the connection that surfing gives us to the ocean.
It's just like a beautiful ballet, and you see, like for me, I see longboarders, men and women, that just, they're so like fluid and graceful, and it's probably one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen.
If you're lying down and, barely standing up, or riding on your knees, or just belly riding all the way up to just, killing it, it's wave riding, no matter what.
And there's nothing like being connected and riding the energy of the wave. It's, it just gave me a little chill. It's crazy. It causes us to chase it. It chases, you want another wave, you want another wave. It is a little bit of a sickness.
I was about 11 years old, and it was a single fin Strickland, and I stood up on it, and I felt like I was flying, and it was a feeling that you can't undo. And I was hooked.
You're like always gonna wanna be waiting for that next wave that you catch. And so, took one surf lesson, was so hooked, obsessed.
We just keep doing it for years. It's like golf. You chase after that little white ball. For us as surfers, we're just continuing finding that wave, to feel that energy and to have that relationship, make that connection. It's just mind-blowing. There's nothing like it.
Surfing was male dominated. I don't know that I ever saw a girl with a surfboard, ever. And so sitting the beach between 1996 and 1998, you would see pretty much all males, again, surfing and, out in the water. Girls were not doing this, not yet.
This is a little bit of an area that has been dominated. It's called Rat Town. So the men, skateboarding and surfing, this is their turf. And it's been interesting to come into this from St. Augustine, which is kind of a mellow, everybody, chill out, surf together, come into this male-dominated area as a bunch of women. They've welcomed us in a lot of ways. When the waves are really good, all bets are off. You're gonna fight with the top people to get waves.
Being the only girl out there, a lot of times you didn't catch a lot of waves. You felt alienated. Then I started surfing in the ESA, the Eastern Surfing Association, and there was only one other girl. I got second a lot, and everyone thought that was great. They're like, yeah, but I'm like, there's only two people.
Back in the late 90s, it was just so small. It was a really small group. Wherever you would go and surf anywhere in the world, if you saw other women, we were just so few and far between. And so we were just so stoked and excited to see each other that, it was so rare.
So when you were out in the lineup, it was, one, maybe two girls, and then all the guys. And so, sometimes they weren't as open to sharing waves, or maybe they didn't want to be shown up by a girl, because some of the girls back then were really ripping already, so.
That was a girl. That was a kick-ass job she took.
I thought it would just be fun to create this group to have other women to surf with, just for fun and moral support and that kind of thing. Myself and another woman just sat down together. She wanted to start a group too. And I thought of the name Sisters of the Sea, it kind of came to me. And so we sat down, we wrote a letter, and right off the bat, we formed our group in a mission statement, which was friendship, wave knowledge, and beach improvement. And that all happened in 1997, in the summer, July.
When we started it, it was just about having girls in the lineup to to feel more comfortable and confident and be more instructive than competitive.
I wasn't at the very first surf session, but I was at the very first meeting. There was 12 of us at that meeting at I think it was at Marion's house. Ava Duran invited me in. I was a friend of hers. And so that's how I started with Sisters. I'm member number 11. I maintain the list, I know.
It was just organic, and we just wanted to have more fun with our girlfriends in the water. We would call each other. We would have a chain of I'll call Marion, Marion calls Renee, Renee calls Valerie, and tell everyone, because it was before the internet. That's how long we've been doing this.
Annie and Deb Swaney and I think Ava handed out envelopes and asked us to put our addresses on them and give them back so that when we could produce a letter, we could send it out. We sent them in the envelope to get a group to come surf together. And our first session was at Dolphin Plaza in Hanna Park.
It was like an infiltration into an already existing culture, right? There was the male culture. There was groups like Wave Masters that were local that had less than a handful of women back then in it. And I think that we saw the need to have something of our own.
Women are more social in the water, and then you see a girlfriend out there, you're like, hey, I mean, even to this day, I'll paddle up to a girl, I'm like, hi, what's your name? Have you heard of Sisters of the Sea? But especially then, when there's so few women surfing, it just gave us a sense of connection, a sense of community that just kept building and building and building.
We have Sam Ryan as our president. She's awesome. And then Erin McCarthy, Erin Miller, she's awesome. She's VP. She's been there since the beginning. And then Renee and myself and Ina and a few other women that just have said, yeah, I'll do a little bit more. So they lean on each of us to just do whatever's needed.
You know what, the heart of the day has been amazing, and we appreciate everyone's support. Woo! We appreciate our volunteers.
No one gets paid in what we do. We're all volunteers, and we all became moms, and we figured out how to still do it, with babies and kids, and we're still volunteering and growing the group. I feel in this area that there's more women and more girls per capita in this area than most areas, because our Surf Classic is really about support and having fun. It's a competition, but it's about planting a seed. And these girls, if you ask any girl out in the water right now, what was your very first surf contest? They'll say Sisters of the Sea.
Being the only female surf event, one of the only, I think there was only one other one in North Carolina, it was always kind of a premier event, because there wasn't a lot of places where women could just compete with women.
But I remember Mitch Kaufman going, oh yeah, you'll maybe get like 30 people. We had 94 women from ages 4 to I think, 60. That first contest. It was a one-day contest. And we had people from all over donating stuff. And these weren't like big, like Roxy or whatever. These were just grassroots people.
Early contests, those were the days, just the encouragement that everyone feels on the beach and the water, everyone hooting and hollering for each other is part of the excitement. Competition definitely is a part of it. Playing sports my whole life, you always want to win, but you're always just rooting for each other and want to see each other do well.
All my life I had gone to my brother's soccer games or football games, and we cheered for them on the sidelines. At the Sisters of the Sea contest, I was shocked as I looked around and saw brothers cheering for their sisters, dads board caddying for their daughters. It was just hooray. It helps level the playing fields a bit. It gives a little more value to the women in the family, whereas we seem to always value the athleticism of the males. And it's so wonderful to see dads and brothers amazed at their sisters and wives.
The impact Sisters of the Sea has had, it's amazing that what started as such a small group here in Northeast Florida has now trickled down to Central Florida, the west coast of Florida, but really all over the Southeast. Women come from all over to compete in this one contest annually. And we may not see each other all the time, but that once a year gathering, may see each other on Facebook or social media. And but to have that one day on the beach and everyone just lose their minds, it's pretty special.
What do you say when you've been doing something for almost a quarter of a century, that you kind of started out like, how do we do this, right? To the amazing thing that it is today, the technology, we do live heat so you know right away as it's happening. You can have family or friends watch it online as it's happening. The organization that began with Val and now how it's been streamlined even further through Sam has been really amazing to watch. And then when it happens and it comes together, it looks effortless to the outside eye. And what you can't quantify is the feel on the beach on that day. It's like no other day. No other day.
Sisters of the Sea was the first female contest I did ever compete in, and it's growing and growing. It's amazing. The ages of the little girls now that are surfing in it, and the older women, it's been the one that's really been the constant in my life.
It's our 25th annual Sisters of the Sea Surf Classic. We're going to celebrate 25 years of empowering women and girls in the water and out of the water, as well as giving back to our community, because we also use that contest to give back to local breast cancer organization called Bosom Buddies. And and celebrate that 25 years we're still doing this.
And then with beach cleanup, we've incorporated that, and we have a great sponsor to our contest with Beaches Go Green, so we partner with them as well to help raise awareness because, the ocean is so important to us.
The ocean is everything to us. We want to preserve what we have and conserve the ocean and not just trash it. You see so many people just destroying really God's playground. It's right out here for all of us to enjoy, and it really just breaks our heart when people don't respect it.
You can't surf if there's no beach, and everybody who's living in the area or has been to Florida and stuff knows that the beach is part of your way of life here, and a lot of activities revolve around the beach. And so one component of Sisters of the Sea is to always do a beach cleanup when we meet up, and also to support the other beach cleanup groups in the area.
We're constant. Every time I surf, I pick up something off the beach, and I don't want the turtles to eat it, and the fish.
Well, that definitely is the heart of our organization. Every time we go to the beach, the idea is you don't have to have a massive beach cleanup, but if you can bring a bag at any time and just pick up some garbage, catch a few waves, always trying to learn something and become better at surfing, and whether it's a new trick or, getting into bigger waves, what have you, and the friendship of it all, which is the glue.
So Sisters of the Sea, I think, will always be relevant because women just really need a community. You've heard of it takes a village to raise a child. Well, it's because women like having that village. We need people to bounce things off of and to depend on and to, have that camaraderie with.
I was just on the beach watching the waves, daydreaming about the next time I would be able to surf. And I looked down toward the pier and I saw somebody that looked like me getting out of the water. And I was like, wait, is she a surfer? And then I was like, that's the surfboard. And so I started running. When I saw that she was about to leave, I was like, hey. And then I was like, she's gonna think I'm a crazy lady. But she turned around and waited for me. And I was like, hey, I see, do you surf? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, I've been looking for somebody to surf with. I just started surfing. And she said, oh, you should try Sisters of the Sea.
Sisters of the Sea has provided a family of surfers, of women that come together, travel, find waves, and can spread the Stoke to anyone who wants to come out and enjoy surfing.
So in the Centennial study, the #1 contributing factor of happiness or longevity or overall quality of life was your connections with other people and your sense of community and a feeling of belonging and a feeling like you're contributing to something and there's something greater than yourself that you're involved with. So Sisters of the Sea is definitely the platform or the outlet or the plug-in, if you would say, to something that I personally love doing, that I can share with other people, and that I can kind of spread the knowledge, love, enjoyment, encouragement, refreshingness, whatever surfing is for that day for you.
If I ever have to paddle out alone, I love knowing that there's going to be most likely a girl in the water, and there's a really high chance that I might know her. So
Sisters of the Sea definitely has created an opportunity for women who have been tentative about learning how to surf or the surf culture, because you stand back, I think, sometimes and think, oh, they're so cool, or they're so, it's just, no, it's everybody. It's moms and, little girls and old ladies. So I feel like it is opening some doors.
Now, there's almost more girls than guys at certain places. And that is unreal. I'd like to think that we had a little bit to do with that here, because of our Surf Classic and because of just continually getting into the water and encouraging girls of all ages and women and moms, for that matter, to just start surfing.
When I tell you that Sisters of the Sea has changed the environment of Jacksonville Beach surfing, it has. The women in the water have changed the atmosphere.
Having a community of women, it just is so encouraging but empowering as well. And so you find security and comfort and encouragement from each other. And so that just builds and builds. And hopefully this trickles down, it definitely has trickled down to the next generation.
For me, Sisters of the Sea matters for future generations because I have a daughter and I have a boy, an 8-year-old boy. I think it's good for him to see women in the lineup, respect women's kind of place in the lineup, and see the value of it. I wouldn't want him to be surfing in just a very aggressive environment, So being able to change that feeling that he gets in the water, my daughter feeling like she's welcome and safe and has her own little Grom crew.
There are women that I look up to in the group that are, they've got their families, their careers, and they live these really awesome, healthy lives, and I look up to that. And then there's girls who are 5th grade and in high school, and I'm seeing some of them apply to colleges and get into universities, and so I'm sure there's just this generational kind of relationship that forms, and you don't always get that.
Having those conversations about that leads to other conversations, which lead you to that friendship, and that's the good thing.
It's an easy in.
Yeah, right.
It's easy in to get talking to anybody.
The girls are kind of like family, and you never want to leave anybody hanging, and if you need my help, I will be there for you. I've known you for 20, 25 years, and I've got your back.
Sisters of the Sea, I think, is a part of me now, and I can't imagine not being involved. So if that horrible day that I can't surf anymore ever comes, I'll definitely still keep helping and supporting the younger generations.
It's just something special to see all these women come together and be in the water together.
Friendship, wave knowledge, beach improvement, what's better?
Life is so stressful, and that's what I'm telling him now. There's so much going on in the world that everyone needs that moment where they can go out, just have fun, have it be organic, look at the sun, watch the dolphins, take a deep breath in, be grateful to be alive, and then all of a sudden you got these other gals smiling at you, and you're not alone. And I think that is priceless, absolutely priceless.
Are you excited? Why are you excited? Because I want to win. The Sisters of the Sea did an unbelievable job putting this all together. They rock. They are unbelievable. Hey girls!